Oh, we are live. Hello,
Oh man,
everyone.
here
Yeah,
it
we are live.
is.
Hello.
It is right. Hello, everyone. We started really big energy, and guys, you should, you should close other side. Okay. Yeah, we are ready. I'm so excited, by the way. First of all, I introduce myself. I am İrem. I have been working in fields of deep learning and especially computer vision for 3 years. And right now, I am Google Developer Expert. I became so new, actually. And also, I'm working in Deloitte and data scientist. And yeah, today, by the way, I joined it with my lucky bear. Maybe you know this bear. Yes, Azar. You need uh, elephants. You have? You can say something, Azar.
Yeah, I
Oh, my
bring
apologies.
mine.
So, yeah, my internet is a little tripping out at the moment. But if we're doing introductions, hi everyone. My name is Azar Ali, and I just graduated from Florida International University with my bachelor's in computer science, and
You are
I am an.
actually.
Oh
It
yes.
is not time. Introduce yourself.
Oh,
It is.
that's how bad my internet is.
I mentioned my lucky beer, and I joined it today.
Yeah,
And
I
maybe
have.
there are people who remember the events we did in Florida, and I have been little unlucky in Florida events. That's why I am here with my lucky beer, and also Azar joined it. Yeah, everyone have
Yeah, we have our own
lucky
lucky
beer.
we have our own lucky bears.
Yeah, yeah. Really great. By the way, maybe you know me, so I love interactive broadcasts. So please comment, ask questions to us, and let chat to be active. And this is important for us. Also, our team is really so high and have so high energy. And this is my big events. Okay, today actually I love community, and I mentioned Florida events, and I met my friends Hermes and Azar who are here thanks to for community, and I can do this program thanks to community. And I have wonderful guests today. They all do great jobs, work in very good companies, and do internships like Meta, like Lyft, like Lumen, like Nordstrom, like Microsoft. So today will be I'm so excited really. Today we will listen to these teams' experiences, and actually we can start step by step. Okay, how are you guys? Could you please introduce yourself? And I think Azar wants start
Yes.
right time.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yes. So, hey everyone. Now it's time to introduce myself. So, my name is a graduate now. It's crazy to say that I graduated last week in computer science at Florida International University. I am a time
Azar,
intern, and I am.
Azar, your voice is little problem. Probably you have internet connection problem.
Yeah.
I cannot hear Azar actually.
I cannot either. I think he completely froze. That's not
Okay, okay, Clem.
oh.
Please introduce yourself.
Oh well, not the intention, but I guess I'll go for it.
Please.
So, hi, my name is Clement. I am currently a senior at Florida International University. By the way, if you guys want to call me Clem, that is no problem whatsoever. It's your choice. Despite the Google shirt, don't be fooled. I am interning at Lyft. I will be starting in less than 2 weeks, and I'm going to be working on the bikes and and the IoT devices, mainly working on like the Lyft bike docks that are used around in like very busy city areas. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be completely new for me. So I've also done an internship at Amazon in advertising, working in advertisement diagnostics. That was primarily a back end role, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Clem. And Martin?
Hey everybody, I'm Martin. Like Azar, I also just graduated from FIU with my bachelor's in computer science, and I'm about to start working for Nordstrom in about a month, so I'll be having to move over there. But I've also interned for IBM, and both of my roles at these companies are mainly back-end focused. But yeah, that's about me so far.
Great. Azar, probably you have stable intern right now?
I'm praying. I'm really praying right now.
Oh,
Oh, the camera
Can you all
looks
hear
good
me?
right now.
and voice
Yeah,
is good?
voice is good.
Perfect.
Camera
Okay.
is-
Okay. So should I go ahead right now?
Of course, please.
Perfect. So, okay, for the third time, my name is Azar Ali, and I am a recent graduate of Florida National University in computer science. I am a two-time intern at Facebook, or now called Meta. I was a Facebook University intern in summer of 2020, and last summer I was a SWE intern at Facebook. And now, starting in a month myself, like Clem and Martin, I will be a software engineer at Meta, and I will most likely be working on Facebook Live, and yeah, working with the videos that everyone loves to see every day. And yeah,
Great, really great. Actually, I wanna mention Kunza right now.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm Kunzan Nari. I'm a senior majoring in computer science at Florida International University. Will be graduating in December. This will be my first internship in summer, which I'll be starting in 3 weeks with Lumen, and I will be doing Android development. I specifically applied for that. So yeah, super excited.
Great. Enormous.
Hi. I hope you can hear me well. My name
Yeah.
is Hermes Munia. I am a sophomore, so I have 2 more years. I'm kind of like on the lower end of graduating, but I have about 2 more years until I graduate. I'm a computer science major with a minor in mathematical sciences. Last summer, I did a research internship at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. If anybody's from Massachusetts, hi. It was a computational neuroscience. And then this year, I'm going to Microsoft. I'm going to be working on C++, which I've never worked on. So wish me luck. I'm really excited for it, and really excited to maybe give some insight on how you might be able to get an internship as well and go where you want.
I remember before this broadcast, we discussed programming language, so it was terrible.
He just went from such a high level language down to almost below.
Yeah, I'm going from Python to C++. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I'm excited for it.
Granted, C++ has come a long way with all the stuff they provide now, but still, that is, oh man, have fun.
yeah, wishing you lots of luck.
And Gabby,
Hi,
please
everyone.
introduce yourself.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hi, everyone. So my name is Gabrielle Sebastian, but most people just call me Gabby, so feel free in just calling me Gabby. I'm also a Florida International University student. I'm a sophomore, so I'm in the same boat as Hermes, where I still got 2 more years to go till I graduate. But I'm studying computer science. And I'm going to be an Explorer intern at Microsoft this summer, and I'm actually going to be a part of their Xbox/gaming department. So I'm really excited for that. And a bit of my experience, I used to teach young girls in a 2-week coding camp how to code in Swift and help them create their own final project. So that's a little about me, and I'm excited to be here.
Great, thank you so much. Actually, this question you explain it, but in which field do you intend to work in future? For example, AI, for example, web, for example, mobile, backend, or programming language, etc. And why? I wonder. And we started Clem. This
man.
question.
All right, let's do it. Yeah.
Starting this.
So I think I most likely I will be working in the back end, and as much as I would love to say like it, it was something that was just like the thing that I knew was my passion. It did not work out that way at all. To be honest, it was probably the last thing I tried. Um, I like I like earlier on I tried doing pretty much everything, and I think the back end was just when I started like taking like seriously trying to learn it. Like it was the most intuitive thing to me, and I think for at least for now, like that's what I'm going to be sticking with. Uh, Whether I go like lower to like the system level or I just stay with the APIs, that we'll see. But I'm definitely going to be in the backend.
Okay. And Martin?
So for me, it's a little weird because at Nordstrom, I'm definitely doing back end work, but
Oh.
long term career wise, I'm not sure if that's exactly what I want to do. I'm
Oh.
stuck between like a couple of things. I have like a little bit of cybersecurity as like a hobby of mine, so I think maybe that's something I'd like to explore career wise. Or either that or transitioning to just full stack development because I feel like it'd be cool to see, every step of the way.
Yeah. And Gabby?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in a position where I'm like, I've tried multiple things and I haven't exactly found my specific thing that I want to do. So, hopefully with the experience in Xbox and game development, it seems something really interesting to me. And so when I found out that I will be working in that department, I was like, oh my God, Xbox game dev, this sounds so cool. So maybe game dev. We'll see. Maybe 2 years along the line, I'll be doing mobile dev. Who knows, really? But I'm just really excited to keep learning, and I encourage a lot of people to do that.
By the way, really, this process is so normal because, for example, when I was student, really, I tried mobile, I tried web development, etc. I tried many different area, and my last decision was deep learning. And this is so normal because long-term decision or now is different, really, and everyone changing, and this is so normal. And Hermes?
Yeah, so with me, I intend to work in AI. I've been doing it for the past 2 years.
Finally, I found an AI.
Yeah, we've always connected on that, Irem. Yeah, definitely AI has always, I think already from the beginning, since I started learning how to program, AI always appealed to me. I think there's so many fields within AI. I mean, I've been doing it for 2 years. I did research on deepfakes, and I feel like I am totally not good at AI. I want to get like there's so much more that I want to do. So I think it's a field that's constantly expanding, and something that I really just enjoy doing it. So you never know, it might change in the future. But for the past few years, and I think for the years coming, AI will be where I am. Yeah.
Great, really great. By the way, one question to Clem. Clem, which programming language comfortable right now for backends, and which one do you prefer or suggest to us? By the way, this question is really dangerous for that.
Yeah, this is. Oh boy. Okay, so right now for the okay, I'm gonna answer this question honestly. Right now, the programming languages that I'm comfortable now with for the backend are Java.
Other is so much right now.
Python and Node.js. I have used all three. I think personally, if it's like you're just starting out, you can and as well as Golang now, because I've been learning it for like a little over a month now. It's really easy to get started with. So I'm also comfortable with that as well. And I'd say if you're somebody who's just starting out, like just start off with one language and learn like in depth, like all of the basics and like the concepts, because it's not so important which language you use, because a lot of the concepts like remain the same within these languages, uh, at least for the fundamentals. So you won't have to worry so much about it. Like if you started off with Node.js and you're scared that, oh, I'm going to switch to a language that has other threads and I don't know what's going to happen anymore, like you don't have to worry. There's probably just one other thing you have to learn. Every other concept is going to stay similar. So yeah, I would just say like just choose. If anything, oh my gosh, this is gonna get me in trouble.
Actually, I think also maybe Azar want to answer this question.
Yeah. Sorry, you want to answer?
For backend development. Ooh, that's me personally. So actually, I guess a little bit about me. I am a pretty much diehard mobile developer. So I I love like specifically Android development, and I've been really trying to do my projects in that. That is the work that I've done at Facebook, and that I intend to continue with at Facebook. That being said, I've been, I'm really comfortable with Android, but I'm also trying to branch out a little bit here and there. Like I've done a little bit of front end with React, and I've done a little bit of back end, specifically with Node.js and like Express. So I think that's probably what I've been most, kind of ish comfortable with in terms of back end, what I have done, because I'm specifically working with like a web application. I know this is not like a programming language or but one way that I've done backend that I've used it a couple times, and it's really nice for someone who's just starting to get start with a project, is Firebase, and which is also like a Google product that it's it has authentication, and it has it has different ways on how you can store your database, and it has like security. Super nice. I've used that for a couple of projects, but I am looking to get into like my own backend development, specifically actually with Java and with Kotlin with K4. So, I'm looking actually this summer. Oh yeah, me and we're classic Java.
All right, I'll give my honest opinion. So you should it would be it's easier to start off with Python or Node.js, and the reason why is because like there's a lot of like a lot of the backends in Python and Node.js are pretty lightweight, and like they don't require don't require like a lot of background information to get started with. So I would say like using one of those two languages to start off with is fine, but eventually you will have to move. I do recommend branching out once you've gotten more comfortable, and yeah, you feel like you can take on some a more challenging language.
Okay.
You know that hurt me.
Okay, this question is okay. And our question: in which field do you intend to work in the future? And probably Kunza didn't answer, right?
Yes. Um, in which field do I intend to work in the future? I will probably stick with mobile development, as I've tried different stuff. I've tried back end, front end. I did kind of like.
I am asking. You say that mobile development, thanks
Yeah.
to us or not?
Sorry.
You say mobile development,
Yeah.
and thanks to Azar or not?
It is thanks to Azar. He was a great mentor.
Well,
I will say the way he taught me, it really grabbed my attention towards mobile development. Yeah.
Great.
Thank
fun
you so
fact.
much, Azar.
Fun fact, actually. Kunza, Azar, and I all tried to do front end at one point, and our centering div abilities are just abysmal.
It's nothing that I don't want to talk
Okay.
about. we same like we all tried different things. Like we tried front end, and yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, another day we'll try to get into it.
Yeah, like I will say, front end kind of did stand out to me just because I like design. But when it comes to like connecting it with back end, I did not like it. I was just like, okay, no. In that case, I really love how mobile front end and back end is in one place. It's not two different things to the most extent. Which I guess to me it just came easy. So yeah, I'll probably stick with mobile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think this is funny more than AI.
Yeah.
Hermes is crying.
AI is difficult to get into, I think, but luckily we have YouTube, right?
Yeah. By the way, actually, Azar's career is so clear, and I cannot uh, ask this question to Azar, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Azar, you are also developer in Meta, and your career path, mobile development, etc., so clear. And yeah.
like it's what I see myself potentially going into. But once I start Facebook, they have something called a bootcamp process where I can choose what I want to dive into.
Career job, right? Facebook
sorry.
is your.
This will be my first full time. Yes.
Oh, great, really great starting. By the way.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
By the way, many questions came, and I will ask time by time, and okay, and I can ask other question. Everything's ready. Okay. What did university life add to you, add to yourself? Do you think it was effective for your career, or maybe other answers? And we can start, Kunza. University life.
I will say, from university life, extra curriculum, specifically developer student club, that's what built me up as a developer and taught me what a developer to be a developer, what it meant and where to start from. But apart from that, I would say just university in general, with just a course or my major or like just classes, it did not teach me anything regarding my career. I'm just going to be very honest. I would have, if there was a choice of me doing a boot camp before coming to university or doing some kind of tutoring or something, I would have preferred that way more than just diving into university and going with that. Because I felt like even though like the classes teach you certain skills, but they're very theory based. Like they're never going to be helpful in my practical life, or they're not the skill sets I need for actual work life.
Wow.
So that's my 2 cents on that.
By the way, everyone in the Florida International University?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay.
Oh.
No. Hey.
I don't know. I can't speak for everyone.
What? What happened? What happened?
Like does
I
everyone
didn't hear the
agree?
question.
Like the same with like the view on
No.
education?
Yeah.
No. Do we all go to Florida International
Oh,
University?
that's
That's what
Yes,
I
we all.
understood. The
Ah,
question.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Let's make sure.
Sorry.
Okay. And Gabby, how's your university life and your career path, etc.?
I mean, I agree for the most part with what Kunza said. Like, if you just solely like rely on the classes that you're taking in university, realistically, like you probably won't be getting more than you can get by being more involved with student clubs and using other resources that are on the internet. I personally think that while that's the case, I also think that university does provide some of those resources and at least the basis for kind of knowing where to get started. And through university, I was able to find the club that I'm currently a part of, which is Google Developer Student Club, and meet with other people and learn about different resources, learn about internships. So I felt like even though while the classes don't fully give me everything, just being a part of university helped meet a lot of people that were able to kind of guide me through the path that I'm going in now. And yeah, like, so I think it's not perfect, but it does provide something.
Yeah. Kuza, and you mentioned student clubs and community. Actually, community drove my career path. So really, I can say that community and network and this program is so important for university life. And I agree. And Clem,
All right, I think I will put an end to the university bashing here and say that the classes aren't totally useless. They do provide like some good, like the foundational knowledge that uh, I guess some people may like take for granted sometimes. Uh, but they are concepts that are important to know as you're developing, as you're like beginning your developer career. Uh, with that said, like that's probably the only good thing I'm going to say about classes. The rest are going to be pretty much echoing what Kunza and Gabby have already said, where uh, connecting with the member, like some of the students who are, particularly the students who are ambitious and looking to like take their career seriously and really want to know what's out there and what they want to learn. That's the way that you push yourself and helps and helps you start rolling, like going towards getting those internships and jobs that you may want. And I will also say additionally, actually talking to like your professors up until this yeah, up until this year. Yeah, I had never really done it. Like when I say talking to the professors, I mean like just casually. You can do that too. Because they have a lot of they have a lot of insight into into a lot of fields. They dive pretty deep. Uh, and they have a lot of perspective that like you don't even know that you should know. And for me, I had the chance to talk to a really good professor this past, especially this past semester, and it is taught me a lot. So I would definitely recommend also like speaking to your professors as well, along with like students and the people in the CS community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. And Martin?
So I think that like anything in life, university is kind of what you make of it. But there are some things that I think it's important to be objective about, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is that, just the fact that you have a college degree, regardless of whether or not you learned anything from it, it gives you a huge leg up. For example, I have a friend who he's a very, very talented developer. But he's struggling to get a job just because of the fact that he doesn't have a college degree yet. So and me, I feel like in terms of skill level, he's definitely passed me in terms of development. But
Mhm.
I'm graduating with a job already that I think it's literally just because of the college degree. So if you're just looking at it as in terms of the opportunities that it grants you, I think that alone would be worth it if you're not overpaying for your degree. In terms of the actual education, I think what Clem said is kind of true, where you learn the basics of things that are very good to know. And obviously, you don't actively use a lot of that knowledge in your day-to-day life as a developer, but it is kind of handy to know, just in case you might ever need to reference it, or maybe one day you run into a super specific problem. I don't know, but it's just a good background of knowledge to have, I would say. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was that and I think it was already mentioned, but the network that you get at university is very important, I think, because if you involve yourself in clubs or even just the friends in your classes that you make, it's good because by yourself, yes, you could do a lot of things, but with the support of other people, you could push yourself a little more than what you thought you could have.
Great, great answer. And Azar?
So yeah, so my answer in a way it will kind of be similar to others, but I think I have my own unique perspective because yeah, like one thing is getting involved is super important, but also I think getting involved and meeting people is good, but also like putting yourself out there I think is something that's especially important as well. Like when it like for instance in university I tried my best to just get myself as involved as I could be, and then also try to take on like leadership roles to help benefit other students. Like for instance my first 2 years here at university, I ran a mentorship program which had about like 50, 60 people in it, which helped connect upperclassmen with lowerclassmen, and also the upperclassmen were connected to industry mentors. So I was presented with that opportunity. Like I was kind of involved with the program myself, and just being active. And there was no one else to run it at that time. They offered me the position, and I was a freshman. I was like, I don't know if I should do it or not, but then I took it, and I couldn't be any more grateful for that because of that I was able to make so many connections and also build my confidence and build my and then gain the opportunity to talk to so many people. I gained technical knowledge that was required for these companies, and then the same with the Google Developer Student Club that we have here. I was actually the like one of the first people to run it and to help build it, and that in itself was a lot of work in progress, and it wasn't easy, but with leading that and meeting so many people, again, help develop my confidence and help build a community where we all can learn from each other and we can all grow together. So I guess my takeaway from those two experiences, and plus so many others, is don't be afraid to put yourself out there when you're in university, because university you may not think you might see opportunities, like to lead something like a project, or like to lead like a program. And you might be wondering, I'm not sure if that's, that's for me, or I'm not sure if I can get involved with that. Try applying. Try to see, see how you can get involved as best as possible, because every experience that you have in university will add up to you. Because I see university as the middle ground, right, between you being a kid and then also you starting off in the real world, right? So that those 4 years, or however long you take in university, is your time to invest in yourself, to build yourself to the person that you want to be. Like, that time is yours. Because when in education before, you have a very strict path of what you expected to take in terms of courses and expectations. And then in the real world, right, you have like your job, you have like your responsibilities and duties there. Whereas university is the place, I feel like, you can really shape yourself. You can make yourself to whoever you want to be. You associate yourself with what you want to be, and you major in whatever you want to major. It's so, like everyone else, I'm kind of echoing in a way, but it's really what you make of it. And it's really, and then I like this, saying that be comfortable with making yourself uncomfortable, right? So what that is just keep putting yourselves in, keep, even if things make you uncomfortable, or if things is like, makes you a little nervous, like public speaking or all of these sort of things in university, just go for it, because they all add up to, like,
Other soft
yeah,
skills.
it all adds up. Yeah, and I could like safely say that, like, all of these experiences, like I used to be very fearful of public speaking, but after all the leadership that I've had, I could say that, like, it's gone a lot better, hopefully. And so put
This
yourself.
was the TEDx talks.
Yeah, exactly. My short mini talk.
By the way, our Clem is backstage. Can you ask? Hermes, actually, this question is important for us. Also you are working in the field of deep learning, and deep learning area, deep learning jobs need to university graduated, also master, also etc. And this is important for this area. And actually, I wonder your answer.
Yeah, the answer to to the same question, right, about how important is university life?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There's there's a lot to this question, and that's why, I mean, you've heard us, and we've all said similar things, but also very different things, because this is, I think, one of the questions that a lot of people miss, right? I think coming into university, a big thing that you think is, I need to, do well in my classes, and that is very important. But I need to just focus on my classes, and as soon as I graduate, I will, find a job and so on. And that works for some people. But I think one of the questions that I get a lot, and I think a lot of people in this meeting have, is, how do you get these internships? How do you stick out? How do you, how do you change yourself from everyone else? How do you kind of stand out? And university life is extremely important in the sense, there's a lot of aspects, but one of them is extracurriculars and putting yourself out there. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen, tens of people, it has all affected them really a lot, is realizing that they're very capable of making it to the companies that they want to be. I think when I started out, I was always thinking, like, wow, okay, I want to get into Microsoft. I want to get into Google. I want to be and go out and do the most. I want to get into AI, but it's all super daunting. And I thought, I had applied to like 16 universities. There's a lot of essays. I was definitely burnt out for a while. But I applied and to MIT, to Georgia Tech, and for those who don't know, maybe if you're in Turkey, these are called Ivy Leagues. These are like the biggest schools that are supposed to be in the world and in the US. And it took me a while to realize that you don't have to go to those places in order to go to these companies, or in order to be successful. And I think that's one of the biggest things. As soon as people realize that this is very possible, especially with it's one of the things we did at GDSC, at Google Developer Student Clubs, is showing people, hey, our team and the people in our club are getting into these places, and this is a reality. You are no different than any of us. The only thing that you need is you need insight. And so I think one of the things that university life gives is this insight that you wouldn't have normally. So another good example is like resumes and LinkedIn. If you look at my first resume, I don't even know if I can pull it up or I can find it, but it was bad. And I thought, wow, this is good. I like this resume. And then as soon as I realized, wait, this isn't really the industry standard. This isn't, how I should do it. And I got more advice from people, and I started changing mine. I saw the results right away. And so I think, to answer what makes university life so important, the classes are important. And I agree with Martin and Clem, saying that they give you the fundamentals, and especially because the people teaching it, it ranges. Some professors are better than others and understand more of what you want to do. But overall, they have a very big context of the path, right? So they can lead you in the right direction. But I think more importantly is what Azar said, which is putting yourself out there, right? I think this is something that my entire time at the university and in high school I did as well, was something that my mom said, and she said, you always have a no, right? Like, if you don't apply to something, you're rejected anyways. So you're already starting at a no. The best thing that can happen is you get a yes. And so reach out to those programs. If there aren't those programs in your university, or you're not sure where to find these resources, you can always start it yourself. And it takes a lot of time and effort, and I've definitely put hundreds of hours. But I think those are the key points of shaping who you are and who you want to be as a developer and as a person.
Yeah. Actually, everyone said that university life adds to us one road, future road, and this is so important. Also, community life is so important. People connection is so important. Actually, one question was about community and connection life. We have many questions, and
yeah, there's a lot of questions.
We love to see it.
How did you make network and access to community? Ayşe, Beyza, actually everyone said that community life connection is so important. So we can recommend, maybe you can working with community, and actually this is so easy road for network, right? Yeah.
I would say yeah. And one thing, right, is what Herm was basically talking about was that if it doesn't exist in your area, I would say try and make it yourself. And even if, say that you don't have like a large interest in your area, well, we have things like the internet now, so you can even reach out online and you can find other groups of people that would be interested. And I think there's a lot more opportunities for that now. So it's just about searching around and seeing what works for your situation, I think.
Oh, and if I could chime into what Martin was saying, one really good, if you use Discord, one really good server to join is CS Careers Discord. So if you search that in Google, it should pop up CS Careers Discord. and it's like a huge Discord. But it's really good because there's a lot of people in the same shoes.
Mhm.
And they also have like if you're interviewing, they have like bots that can give you certain type of lead code questions based on a company. And if for those who don't know what lead code is, it's
Mhm.
just a way to practice those kind of questions that will come up in interviews. So I just wanted to say Martin's completely right. Like if it's not in your university, there's Reddit, there's Discords, and a bunch of other places where people are in the same spot.
Really right. Actually, I want to talk about internship program with detail. You are all interns at excellent companies like Microsoft, like Meta, like etc. Really huge companies. Companies. And how did you expect the internship to add to you? And I wonder, for example, Martin.
So yeah, I was gonna say I don't mind starting us off. So one thing that Kunze said earlier was that a lot of what you learn in university is theoretical. I think that's absolutely true. So at least for me, my expectations out of my internships were finding a way to put into practice all that theory that I had accumulated. And
Mhm.
honestly, I think that's exactly what I got because I don't know. Even though with all that theory, the actual implementation of it is kind of difficult. And for both of my internships, I had access to a mentor that would always help me out when I had like a blocker, which I think was really important because, yeah,
Yeah.
you can understand the theory behind something, but you know, it's really hard to put it into practice. But I think that's what I gained the most value out of my internships
Mhm.
because yeah, and also something else, exposing yourself to technologies that you wouldn't have used otherwise. Like for IBM, I had no experience with JavaScript at all, but they made me use Node.js, and they also made me use this thing called the Elk Stack. So that was two things that I had no idea even existed before my time there, and I found it to be super cool that that even existed and to learn how to use it.
Great, really. Actually, Kunza, I wonder, how did you expect the internship program?
How do I expect the internship program?
Yeah.
Well, they kind of did gave me a rundown, and it's basically what I've experienced in. So I do Android development with Java, and that's exactly what my internship is going to be. So I don't think I will have to learn a lot of new things because definitely it will be more intense than what I've done with Android. So there would be new things I guess I'll be learning about Java that I don't know of specifically for mobile. Um, but apart from that, I do know the language. So I don't think so it would be too much of a cultural shock just because I have the experience in it somewhat.
This is so normal, by the way. It's so normal.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, Gabby. How did you expect the internship program?
Yeah, so kind of my expectations for going in the program is definitely kind of bouncing what Martin said is I'm gonna be it's my first internship, so I'm excited to just actually learn what are the things that I can use in an actual job rather than the theoretical stuff that I'm learning in my classes. And so far, what I can expect that they told me from the beginning is my specific program. I'll be doing half of it is PM work, so um, product management, and then I'll be doing actual software engineering stuff. So that's kind
Mhm.
of some of the expectations they told me so far. And along with that, I've never done game dev before, so that's really something completely new to me. And as soon as I found that, I got really excited. So learning more about game dev and working on a specific feature project that is gonna actually like be a part of Microsoft is something that I'm really excited for. And along with that, I already had the chance to speak with a mentor that they gave me, and she already gave me a lot of amazing advice on not only what to expect for the internship and the importance of connecting with people when I'm in the internship. So really being communicating a lot with my manager and other interns while I'm at the internship. She gave me pretty much that advice, and also just some funny advice about the city that I'm going to, like what the weather is like, the
Yeah.
transportation. So I'm really excited just for overall the community, Microsoft. It seems really, really nice, and
Congratulations again.
yeah.
And Clem, how did you
All right.
expect?
So with this upcoming internship, I think I hinted to it in the beginning. I have never worked with IoT devices, and in general, the internship, as my manager described it to me, I'm going to be working like not. I'm probably like if I'm working like one or two layers up from the hardware, which is pretty. So it's pretty low level, lower than I've ever been before. So this is like this is going to be like completely new to me. It's going to be interesting. I've the product. I already know that by the end of the internship, this is going to be a product that they will be rolling out on the streets. So, so it's going to be out there in the public. It's going to be cool. I'm expecting to learn a lot from this internship because yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah. By the way, I did my last internship at Istanbul Technical University, Huzum, and they offered me a job in the second week of my internship. Afterwards, I worked with satellite data for 2 years, and I gained deep learning experience. And actually, this has shaped my entire career. And I am happy that I chose my internship place well. So internship place and career paths is so important, I think. And yeah, this is my story for internship program. And Azar and Hermes. Yeah, Azar.
You can go first.
Um, yeah. So the question is like what my experience with internship was like.
Yeah, how was your experience?
Perfect. So my past two internships with Facebook were pretty different in their own way. So
You
I
made
did,
you made your internship program in Facebook before, right?
yes. So I interned
Right
with them
now you
twice.
are working in Facebook.
Yes. So I went
Yeah.
through the whole like since I'm basically a university baby to like now I've been with Facebook. So I've been with them, yeah. So now I'll be coming up with them for like my third time, and so like each experience is unique. Like the first time that I did, the program is called Facebook University, and it's similar to Microsoft Explore, as Gabby and Hermes are doing, but it's a little different as like their portion has like a PM section and a coding section, whereas with Facebook it's kind of all coding, I guess. Like they either teach you Android development or iOS bootcamp style for 3 weeks, so you're expected to learn as much as you can within that time, and then the rest 5 weeks you are expected to build your own application and showcase it to a group of managers, and then from depending on how the presentation goes, they either determine whether you get a return offer or not. So so for me, I created a mentorship program application because I was involved with mentorship, so I wanted to give back and actually use it for my own purposes as well. So I made an application for that, and I didn't know too much about Android development before that. I joined a program called SparkDev at FIU that I learned a tiny bit, but then I learned so much during the internship time. And that's one thing I want to say. Internship, like you don't have to know everything coming before it, but so if you're about to start an internship, just chill, please. Chillax before the internship a little bit, because you'll be working during the internship, right? And you will be learning everything as you go. And as Gabby mentioned, like you'll have like a manager. And for me, I had a manager back then, super helpful anytime I had any questions or anything. Of course, you try to find your own solutions, but you have someone to fall back on. And that was similar to my other internship, which was a software engineering, where That one was a little bit less hand holding, because for me, I did an interview to get into the Facebook University program, but I didn't interview for the Facebook software engineering intern program, because what I did previously was, like, got me into that. That whole internship was essentially like an interview on its own. Like the 12 weeks that I was there, that was like an interview, and they expect you to work just like a software engineer, right? Like you put up, you push code, you're working with other engineers. And even though I like my focus is mobile development, I will say that in these companies, you will be touching up on other aspects as well. Like, for instance, I had to do a little bit of backend, right, in PHP, which was, oh my goodness. And then and I also had to touch up on some React front end, because these things they're all interconnected, right, when you're working with a product. So you will touch up on all of these things, but my 90% focus was mobile development. And then you also have like other tasks as well. Like, for instance, I had to do some kind of research as well, like with users, and like A/B testing and stuff, like to see how users would react to different UI changes. So like I had to set up my own experiment and all that. Didn't know how to do that, but you learn on the go. And that's what I have to say about these internships. You just enjoy the experience, because I met also such cool, talented people that I'm still friends with to this day. And yeah, and then I'm expecting something similar for the full time. I'm expecting to be going even more in depth. And I know that for a full time, there's also something called on call, that you will have like weeks at a time. Like, you have your whole team, and then it will rotate like with each member of the team to be ready to address any situation that pops up with your team, right, or with your product. Like if there's like something that shuts down, you will be the first one to work on it. So that was not something I had to do as an intern, but that's something I will have to do as a full time. So like there's differences, but like for me, the expectations just keep kind of going up. But yeah, so the internship is just like, I think it's just like a safe and like taste of what real work is like. And your test to also see if you want to do this job for full time, because that's part most internships, they will assess whether they want to give you a return offer or not, right? And that's also your opportunity to see if you like the company culture, if you vibe with everyone, and if you enjoy the work that you're doing, because that's so important.
And Hermes?
Yes. So to repeat the question, it was how do we expect the internship to?
Internship program, yeah. Right.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, a little bit more information about me. I forgot to mention in the beginning. So the program that I'm in is Microsoft Explore. So that's what the internship is called. It's actually the same one as Gabby. It's going to be partly PM, and then the rest will be software engineer, right? So it gives you a bit of both worlds to be able to explore. The thing, Gabby is in gaming, she's in Xbox, and I'm in their AI and cloud organization.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, I mentioned earlier that I was doing C++. So I got more information and stuff as the weeks came forward, and I'm going to be working on not only C++ but the compiler of C++. So I'm going to be really like how Clem was saying that he was not too much higher above the hardware. I will also be kind of close to the hardware. So for me, it's a completely new experience. I'm really excited. We're going to be in person in Seattle. I already have a few things planned out for Seattle. In general, there's still like so much in the air. But I've seen who my manager is. I have gotten emails from them and some of my other they call it a pod. So it's you're doing separate projects, but it's I think around 3 people in your internship that are all together in the same team. So I've already gone to kind of meet them and see who they are, and they are like I had the same thing in my last internship, in my research internship. So I had 2 suite mates. So they were like my roommates, but in separate rooms. Their names are Sean and Harrison. Shout out to them. They're awesome. They, I was looking because we would help each other with our resume and so on. I was looking, and I mean, one of them was working he was like on a team on making a Mars rover, a drill, like to drill through ice, and he was using machine learning. And I thought, what am I doing? I mean, they're so much better than me. I mean, they were on different teams and so on. And then my other roommate, he had gone to John Hopkins for like two internships, and so these were really impressive people. And I had the same experience this time. My pod mates are really impressive. So, which is awesome because that just means you can learn from them. I remember last internship, we would just be up like until 2 a.m. with them, just learning. And so that's actually one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to and expecting from this internship is being able to be with really talented, smart people, and just learning as much as I can. And it's definitely gonna be new. And I guess in that part, yeah, definitely. I mean, C++ and then compiler, it's scary. But it's also exciting. So
Actually, other people's cannot see our private chat, but Azar won't talk about Java.
Yeah, so are we ready for a 30-minute lecture on Java? Or
Actually, my previous internship was all Java, and everything was wonderful.
that was actually me. Both my internships were Java, bro.
Like, I did a couple. I did like a little bit of TypeScript for the CI/CD deployments of our API, but other than that, it was all just pure, wonderful Java. So many things I learned about Java. I didn't know Java could be used in such a wonderful. Okay, all right, that's enough Java. Well, there's never enough Java talk, but I'll give you guys a break for now.
Yeah.
after C++, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know how Java is.
Okay, actually, I wonder one important. I have one important question: how to find an internship place? This is so important question, our listeners. For example, Gabby.
Yeah, so I think one big place is honestly, again, if you do go to university, like going to extracurriculars and things like that, because that's how honestly I found out about the Microsoft Explore program. It is a program, yeah, it's a program that's catered specifically for university students that are in their first and second year. So you don't have to have too much experience. But it's a really good opportunity to get even more experience, and it does. And applying to it was something I was kind of scared of, to be honest, until I talked to a friend at university, and she kind of convinced me, like, just go for it. The worst that they can say is no, and then I got it. So yeah, just kind of being really involved, and word of mouth is really important, like asking around people who have applied to internships. If you know someone that has an internship, ask them more about it. The internet as well, being on LinkedIn, sometimes I know people will find jobs specifically through LinkedIn as well. Sometimes I see, like, it will show up on my, I think it's like the feed thing, it's like jobs that are open. I've seen it before, will be like, oh, Microsoft PM position open, Meta position open. So really looking through the internet, kind of doing your research also helps as well. And just reading through the description just to really make sure you know what is it that they're looking for, because you don't want to go into it without not having those qualifications, and it's like, oh no, they're expecting me to code in Java, but I've never touched Java before. So really, like, looking at the job descriptions as well is a plus when it comes to looking for those roles.
Hey, Azar, please.
I agree, definitely.
Not enough talk. Yeah. And Hermes, your internship at Microsoft and your same with Gaby?
Yeah. So well, we're like different groups. So I'm AI and cloud, and Gabby is gaming. But it's the same. Yeah, it's the same internship program.
Same program, but different group, right? Right?
Right. Because they have several like different. They call them organizations within Microsoft. So for
Uh-huh.
example, like a big one is gaming, and then there's AI and cloud, and I forgot the other ones.
Even
But
within even within gaming, there's even more to it. You can be working specifically on the hardware. You could be working on the app store,
mhm.
different things. So that just kind of feels like with big companies, there's so much you can do.
Yeah. And Guza, how to find an internship place?
Yeah, so I would say the best way to find which company has what internships open for what positions are on GitHub. They have like GitHub, usually if you search like internship for, let's say, like summer 2022 or summer 2023, they have huge list people have made. They keep updating it too, which has all the companies and the locations of it and what positions are there. Apart from that, I would say Indeed helped me and Handshake helped me. I would write whatever internships I would want to look for, specific positions. For me, I was specifically looking for mobile development. Um, and that's how I found my internship because I knew I wanted to, regardless of me being in software engineering, I wanted to specifically have internship in that. So I was just looking for that. And then there are also internships which are just behavioral, and they have lists out there for that on GitHub or like even on like Indeed and stuff. So
Mhm.
definitely I would suggest GitHub, Indeed, Handshake for it. Mhm.
Martin, I wonder your past.
Yeah. So I think it's funny because for me, a lot of people suggested to me LinkedIn, but I wasn't really having a lot of luck, even though I had all my experience on there before. And I'm talking here's for my next internship. But what worked for me specifically was going to career fairs because, if you have the chance to go to one, either virtual or in person, it's really good because you could talk to the recruiters there one on one. It's kind of the same as if they come to your college or university campus. The point is that having that face to face contact and,
Mhm.
building a connection with them, even if it's like, even if you're not talking about software engineering, if you're just talking about your hobbies or whatever, just having that connection with them, I think is really important because, I don't know, it kind of opens the door a bit. And also, something else that's really good about career fairs is that it shows you companies that you might not have really thought of. For example, Nordstrom, I always associated it with retail because here's just a luxury fashion company. But I didn't know that they were so investing heavily into their technology and stuff like that. So by being exposed to that at the career fair, I got an opportunity with them. And it's opening a lot of doors for me now because now on LinkedIn that I have that experience, a lot of people are reaching out to me. So I would say look on online forums and career fairs as well because it exposes you to a lot of things that you wouldn't have been able to see otherwise. And one more thing I want to add is that just cast a really wide net because it's honestly kind of like dating. It's like a numbers game ish. So you have to just throw out as many applications as you can, and eventually you're going to get a yes. Because even in the beginning, when I had zero tech experience, I
Mhm.
got a job teaching coding to elementary school children. And that actually helped me get my first actual internship. So I would say just always try to find a way to be doing something, but don't let yourself do nothing, if that makes sense.
Great.
Is it okay
And
if I chime into that? To what Martin
yes,
said? Yeah, so I really agree. Like, even if like you don't feel like you'll get it, like apply, because sometimes these companies, they'll have, when you apply, let's say you don't get it, they'll still have your information and resume on like whatever database they keep it in, and they'll eventually reach out to you in the future. I know that's something that Google recently did to me. I applied for a similar program that they have that's similar to Microsoft Explorer. I didn't get it, but I got an invitation from a recruiter to apply, and so it's really important to apply. That's essentially like the most important part. Apply, network, and you'll have like all those opportunities.
right. And yeah,
How to get an internship? Oh boy. If someone, oh my gosh, I wonder how many times I asked this question to shoot. I probably asked this question to Azar last year.
We've had a lot of conversations about this.
Yeah. But I guess my experience was interesting because like I really struggled to find my first one, and then like after that, it was like it kind of just it was just like one after the other. It's crazy, but I'd say the two main ways to like get an internship is one, the brute force way, like Martin was mentioning. You just got to apply and throw yourself out there. Uh, take the OAs that they give out, the implicit, or I like to call the implicit no's, and just keep putting your resume out there, improving your resume, doing more projects, interview preparation, and the right company will until the company that like you eventually end up with the company that like is right for you, I'd like to say. And then the other way is through university, through like sometimes they're recruiting events like hackathons. Oh my gosh, hackathon! I wish I knew about like how easy it is to get interview opportunities at hackathons. Just talking like I know it's intimidating sometimes to see those those booths with the company recruiters and some engineers there, and it's like a 5-on-1 conversation. Like it's I'd say don't be afraid. They're actually there to get to know you, and they really want to talk to you, despite how it looks. uh, you know, you shouldn't be afraid to put yourself out there for those types of university opportunities, as well as some companies will have this. I guess this is more geared toward like people earlier in their undergraduate career. They will also have programs where they will do like career prep programs or interview preparation programs. And sometimes well, actually, a lot of times for the people who have done well in their program, they would offer them an opportunity to interview with the company. So you don't even have to apply. You just jump straight into the interview process, which is a pretty sweet deal, if you ask me. So if you ever see a program where they say, "Oh, we're going to be doing workshops where we help people learn interviewing," and you get the chance to like work with the engineers, or they say it's some kind of small boot camp, do not think that that program is meaningless. That is an opportunity to showcase yourself and potentially get yourself a job. Um, the only other way apart from that is just your friends. Like, right, this goes back to community. Just you who you talk to really matters, because you never know. They can be the person who can help you, like give you a referral to a company, and that can make a big difference for you. So never be
This is so
hesitate to like.
possible.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
this is possible.
Yeah. So never hesitate to like speak, to like reach out to people. Or I wouldn't say like do it to complete strangers. I mean, you can, but just don't be like blunt about it.
Yeah,
At
try
least
to
try to
develop a
build a
relationship.
connection. Yeah, exactly. Try to develop a connection with the person. You wouldn't just ask somebody to become your partner immediately, right? You would see if you could have a good connection. So yeah, like you like I personally prefer like especially like I'll speak for myself where I say like I personally prefer like the relationship to be organic, but it honestly doesn't really have to. Like I've seen where people are more than happy to give a referral for a job application if you're somebody who can show the person that you could potentially be a good fit for this company, and you're like somebody who will represent them well. Yeah, so those are some of the few ways you can get an internship.
Great, really. Another, actually, I wonder your past experience.
So for me, yeah. So like I mentioned, like
Two times Meta, right? Two
two times.
times.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I did 2 times at
you are
Meta.
so lucky.
I'm sorry.
You are so lucky.
Yeah, definitely. I feel so blessed and lucky. Yeah, with my experience. So, I will say that. So I mentioned I did 2 times a Meta, and that's like been my main internship experience. But how I actually got to that point was like, so I didn't do a technical interview for it, but the journey to get to that point was its own. It was its own journey, right? So I applied as a okay. So from the time that I started university, I went in with this mindset that like with two things. One, I really want to help develop a community with like awesome friends and just do cool stuff together, which was like with the DSE stuff. And then the other thing was just like I'm not gonna be the person who I was in high school. I'm gonna like not be lazy and I'm gonna just make my own name for like myself. So I just went out and I went for as many opportunities as I could, right? And part of it was also internship experience as well. So actually, before Meta, I did two internships, which there's a kind of a debate on this, but I did two unpaid internships, right? So people say, maybe not, not to do it, like you should do a paid internship. But for me, it worked out
Mhm.
for me because I'm an international student. So
Mhm.
the amount of internships that I can do is limited, right? Like I can only do internships during the summer. I can't do it a fall or spring. And if I were to do an internship those times, that has to be unpaid. So that's for me. I just took out any experience that I could find and I went for it. Like one of them was a web developer internship with the school for the honors college that we have. And I didn't know anything about web development. The max I did was at one single HTML page for our class. And I went in knowing nothing, and I walked out knowing what JavaScript was. So I had that experience a little bit. And the other internship experience was actually because back when I started in university, I was interested in
Mhm.
machine learning. So I did a small internship with this startup company that they were trying to like they were an AI company, but also kind of like a web company as well. And they wanted to create a product where you could show AI models just like on your web browser, and then you could edit and then run models just like on the browser or something like that. So I was also another JavaScript. I had Java in the name, so I was like, I guess I'll go for it, right? And I had that experience as well, but so those I didn't end up taking those full, like, I'm not doing JavaScript like all the time now, but I went for as many things as I could to try to just build up my resume, because that's really kind of what I was looking for. and as well with the extracurricular opportunities. And then when it came time to the recruiting season, when I got Facebook again, like Martin said, it's like a dating game, right? You have to just put out as many applications as you could, because I put out, I mean, people are definitely on the higher end, but like I put up about like 50 applications, right, for internships when I was a freshman. And also as a freshman, there's only like, so much that I could really say that I did. But that's why you try to just get it as involved as you can. And even if your involvement wasn't like the most, like even if you weren't the lead developer on a project you were working on with friends, still put it down. Like every experience, or even if only you have class projects, right, you don't have any personal project, put all that down, because that's what companies want to see, like in general, right? Like what kind of experience what you want. And a big part of it, like that helped me, because I didn't have any technical expertise really back then. So I had to go on the other end of the spectrum. I had to just sell myself, right? I had to I had to make sure my resume was perfect. I went to every career fair. I went to every time that recruiters were on campus. I went to that. And that's actually how I ended up, like before, before I got Facebook, I actually got an internship for like another place.
Yeah.
Because I went to the people on campus and I told them about myself. And when I showed up at the interview, those same people were interviewing me. So they knew me already. Like, oh, yeah, what's up? You're Azar, right? I'm like, oh, yeah, what's up? Yeah. And I ended up, so, but the main point is again, putting yourself out there and, making sure that your social skills are on point. If you don't have all the technical experiences yet, your resume has to be good. Your elevator pitch has to be good. And every part of your image has to be really good so that you could sell yourself. Because what company is looking for is, why should I hire you to be a part of my company, right? So you got to give it to them. You got to give them those reasons. And that's kind of for me, like, because what I did was not a technical interview. It was a behavioral interview, which is, you explain yourself and you answer the questions and the way that they're asking, right? So that's for me. Like I practice like days and days and days of behavioral questions beforehand, and and don't underestimate behavioral, because a lot of companies do give behavioral interviews, but some people, like some people don't get it down because they don't study it beforehand. It's in its own way, it can be important as technical, depending on the company you're applying to. Yeah.
Actually, we have a question in the chat. Question is, what would you recommend for self-learning technical concepts? By the way, Kunza will try answering other questions on the chat. And thank you so much, Kunza.
Of course, anytime.
And yeah. Who wants to start?
I volunteer as tribute.
I think you're good after this question.
Man. Hi, Clement Bohm. Internet scouring veteran.
The best of the best.
When it comes to learning, online, like self-learning resources, I do not think the issue is like how, like what the what one platform. There's so much information out there that like you could honestly use like any one of those things and learn like pretty well. I think for me, I've kind of been sticking to Udemy. I've been using it pretty loyally since 2019, 2020. So I really like the platform. They have like a lot of good courses there. But of course, I know that is not free. So I also like for my people who are all about their free resources, as am I too, because sometimes it gets a little expensive. I also like to just find, it takes a while, but you gradually find like content creators on like YouTube who will like make things that are more or less like around the like in your area of interest. I know it takes a while because like a lot of the YouTube feed has been condensed with which programming language you should learn first, and I'm sure by now we like we know, right? Java. We don't have to answer this question anymore. But um, yeah, other good learning resources for concepts. I've noticed that recently I've been looking at Educative. They like some of their articles, at least the free ones. They explain some like more complex topics pretty well. So if you're able to like see a free educative blog, it's really good. Also, of course, there's Geeks for Geeks. Like they have articles.
Do you have specific recommendation
A,
with
spec-
course name, for example?
a specific recommendation of like a specific person, or like or course to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, use Udemy and for example, course name.
Oh, okay. I got you. So this really comes down to what you're trying to learn. If you're somebody who's interested in centering divs, I'd recommend someone like Steven Grider for front end. He's really good. He's got a lot of He's got a lot of good courses on like JavaScript, React, uh, Redux, um, pretty much like Vue, Angular. He's got a pretty good balance of courses to introduce you into front end to the point where you'd be able to go on and branch off on your own. Well, and then so for the back end, that one is a bit more tricky. Uh, I think I might have to hold off on recommending for that one because I honestly like just did a lot of Google searching at that point for that one. Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, I guess someone I could reliably recommend for like just about anything is also Brad Traversy on YouTube. That guy is amazing, and he's like very straightforward with like his tutorials. And it's very easy to like take the projects that he makes in his crash courses and then either go on to like build your own thing or extend like his applications. Like for example, back when I thought my thing was centering divs or doing the front end, however you want to call it, I had done a Vue crash course of his, and then I went on to make it's a Pokemon encyclopedia in Vue, where like if you search the Pokemon, the card will come up, like a Pokemon card will come up, like with all of the Pokemon stats and information, and so like it got me like pretty hands on very quickly, with the concepts that I was learning. Yeah, I think other than that, another great thing to like pick up on concepts just in general is to like just going through like another person's code, or like either if it's through GitHub or if you see like a Medium article like, oh, how I did blah blah, how I built blah blah blah using blah blah blah, right?
So easy. If you
Oh, Ram, you know, for like AI, you got to Medium.
Yes,
Yeah,
Medium.
there's no other choice.
Yeah, like Medium bloggers, they go pretty in depth with their explanations, and it's really good. Like I really like looking at some of the blogs because it teaches me a lot. And also like when I'm actually looking at sometimes they'll have like their code blocks, and you look at the code, and you say, "Oh, I've never seen this before." Yeah, you copy that function or that line of code. You Google it, and that right there just opens up the door to potentially another concept that you might have not even seen before. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to pick up like all the concepts that are like in the field. It's honestly, you'll never stop learning. There's so much. uh,
it is not unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. So it's like don't.
Okay, actually, I want to ask this question, but general, and this is our last question. Okay. I wanna recommendation for general career, for example, or your experience, your book recommendation, video recommendation, or general student life, etc. I want general recommendation
General recommendations.
for our listeners. This is our last question, guys.
So when you say general recommendation, is that just with regards to internships and preparing for them and stuff like that in general?
Yeah.
Okay, I have the perfect one. I'm gonna get links in the chat, that way people
Everyone
can
is
have it.
searching right now. And Hermes, do you have?
So like specific recommendations, in what sense? So you said like books and
Or universal life?
or what? Sorry.
Oh, design patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Martin.
can someone send these in the normal chat? I put 2 links.
Yeah, I
The
got
first one, oh, sorry, I put the same link twice.
This
Let me
is
send the
correct.
second one now. But the first link that I sent is this online course called Grokking the Coding Interview. Basically, for any CS interview, when you get to the technical part, they're gonna ask you very specific questions. And
Martin, by the way, you sent private chat.
yeah, I was gonna ask because I don't know how to send it to the public chat.
Oh, just go
Yeah,
to the
I got
stream
it.
link.
I sent it there, I think.
Oh, thank you. But
Oh,
basically,
I have that book too as well. Where
the
do I have it? Oh, it's too high up on the shelf. I'm not trying to reach up there.
but basically the first link that was sent is basically it'll walk you through patterns that you'll see in all the different problems that they'll ask you, and you'll just study those patterns and you'll see like, oh, okay, anytime I see a problem that looks like this, I could try this out because it's this pattern. So that's pretty helpful. And then in terms of preparing for interviews, I think it's 2 steps. First, the resume, right? Because that's kind of what gets your foot in the door. And for a while, like everybody here, I thought my resume was good, but it wasn't. Once I finally got it good enough to get interviews, then this is probably the most important part, preparing for the technical interview. And I think that first link was the most helpful for me preparing. The second link is a really common book that people suggest, and it is helpful for me. I use it a lot too, but it depends on preference. For me, I like the online course better because I don't know, I'm more of a online book person. But yeah, I think those 2 are really great.
Yeah. And Kunza?
Yes. So I would recommend, honestly, if it's for technical interviews, for internships, I would say to learn specific concepts, lead code is the way to go. But if someone really does not know like where to start from the concept, or like, oh, lead code is just a step ahead in the game, I would suggest Abdul Bari's YouTube. I don't know if someone did earlier, but right, his videos are perfect. I would say they help learn the concepts so easily, and it, like, even the concepts you've never seen, never heard of, it makes everything theoretical. Sorry, theory based and practically easier. And then from going to Abdul Bari's YouTube, if you were to go to Lead Code and like do easier questions, you could really like practice your basically the data structure you're working on for the technical interviews, and work your way up, like go for easy and then easy mediums and then the medium, and then from there. Yeah.
Right. Do we have any answer for this question?
I have some recommendations as well. So Martin mentioned grouping the code interview, like the actual course. I went to go find the book, but I can't find it. They have a book with visuals that have pictures that kind of break down different data structures. So let's say you're refreshing on like certain topics for an interview. It's a really, really good book. It's not too wordy, and you can kind of have a refresher of different data structures and algorithms. To look through when you're prepping for that technical interview. And also, I really recommend using the Leak Code Explore page when they have like kind of like the little courses on like how to learn arrays, how to learn linked lists. That was Azar recommended it to me when I was preparing for my interview, and that was my saving grace. Like
Oh,
it was really helpful. Along with YouTubers, I recommend this YouTuber named Code. He kind of solves different types of LeetCode problems. So let's say you're stuck on a problem. I think he does a really, really good job of breaking down the problem and kind of helping you look into the solution. So yeah, those are kind of the resources I recommend for preparing for technical interviews.
I actually have another resource. If any of you guys use Discord, there is a Discord server called cscouriers.dev, and they have all the list of internships. They have a whole channel for 2020 summer internships, fall, and more about those, and even like grad positions. Apart from that, they have interview questions on it. And if you were to look up certain companies' interview questions, it just shows you a bunch of like questions which have been asked in that particular company. So yeah, I will be putting the Discord name on it. Yep.
okay. We have any answer?
I was gonna say, so all those resources are really, really good. I think, I feel like most of us have at least touched like a few of these while preparing. One thing that I was gonna mention is, I guess this isn't like a tangible resource, but for behaviorals, do not forget your behaviorals. Azar mentioned this earlier, and this is really important because a lot of really good technical people don't pass interviews because they are really good in the technical part, but then kind of lack in the behavioral. And a really good resource, I guess you could see it as a resource, like something that I did was go with some friends that are in the same position that are also practicing, and ask yourself like these common type of questions that you see, for example, on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is really good because you can see a specific position in a certain company, and some people will say like, hey, they asked me, for example, what is one of your what is the situation where you had to pivot from a certain direction that you were doing? That's a common one. But by asking yourself, it's really beneficial because it's really good for you, like if you're being asked the questions. But if you're in the interviewer, you start realizing what kind of questions stand out. I mean, what kind of answers stand out. And that's really important because then you start thinking about how the interviewer is processing what you're saying. And I think that's a giant part of interviews, is trying to understand what answers are logical, right? Like if I give you a bunch of different texts all at once, you're only going to catch a few parts. So being able to understand like how to structure it and so on using the star method, it's really important.
Yeah. And we have any answer? I think no. Actually, we planned only 1 hour. Yeah, plan.
Oh, I was going to say, try not to. I guess this is just general advice. Try not to do too many things at once. Like if you are somebody who likes to, try to learn a lot of things. Like I think the way with like how like this field is, it's like you kind of need to like stick on one thing for a while, at least to like get decent at it. It's like because like if you try to like learn like all of these things at once, I've seen it so many times. You just end up like not actually knowing any of them. And so I say that to say just make sure that you, especially if you're just starting out, just focus on one thing at a time. Don't get yourself overwhelmed. Like eventually you'll have like eventually you'll have all of those skills that you need to get to those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the saying is like, um, average at many, master of none.
Yeah.
Or it's something along those lines. But that's like something I'm a firm believer of, which is like, I try to pick, like, explore a little bit of everything, I guess, kind of in the beginning if you want, but they try to pick one thing and then just go for it. Just build projects, and later on when you're in your industry, you could always switch to something else, whatnot. But in terms of just building up your profile and saying that like that you can give a skills to like the company, try to be really good at one thing. That's something I'm a firm believer with. Like, and so that you could do projects, and then you could do lead code. That's part of the formula of like those two things to getting an internship.
Right. And it's done? Yeah. Actually, we planned only 1 hour broadcast, but it is almost 2 hours. And it was really... and we want to talk more. I don't know. Really, I love this group. I love this team. And it was great. Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you. Up next, 2-hour workshop on Java with Azar.
All right.
Coming from Solidarity and Martin Albert.
All right, let's go. Whip up an Abdul Bari video.
Yeah.
Thank
by
you.
the way,
Java is enough
Wait,
for
I
today.
invited you. What do you mean?
Did you?
Yes, yeah, you said your name.
Everyone in the chat is immediately invited.
I said every Java night is in here.
Okay.
Yes.
Irem, I was gonna say, I think a big question that we had is like where can like people find us? It's gonna be kind of hard to like post all our links or whatever, but
Okay. I will share in my Twitter address. Okay.
yeah. So follow Irem, and by the way, thanks Irem for like they mentioned, thank you for inviting us, preparing this, and making sure that everyone has like a chance to get more info about internships and everything.
Yeah, it was really an honor to like be here and speak to everybody.
Definitely.
Really?
Thank you so much, Irem, for inviting us.
Thank you so much for inviting us. Yes, this was so fun. Thank you guys for all of the love that you've shown us in the chat. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate all the enthusiasm. It's been amazing.
Thank you for the amazing questions. Oh, sorry.
Thanks so much. Yeah, Azar, you can end this broadcast.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Until next time.